Okay, you meet quorum. Wonderful. So it's 5:32, and we will call to order. All right. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be here tonight. Next up would be roll call. Kelly?
Okay. Sarah Linda Kaiser will be absent. She's not feeling well tonight. Lydia DeFlorio.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie Schumann.
Here.
Vanessa Van Coor is also absent tonight. Kelly Roper, I'm here. Manny Magana.
I am here.
Andrea Thompson.
I'm here online.
Ashley Wade.
Present.
And Rabbi Benjamin Zober. Not here yet. Ashley, will you let us know when he comes?
Yes, I will, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. So, maybe I left myself out of the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and Kelly. There we go. 5 makes quorum. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. So I know that people have some big driving to do tonight. So if it's all right with this committee, I'm going to be really pressing things to be moving along quickly. And whereas normally I might seek the input from every individual, on every discussion point, I think I'm going to ask you if you have something to say about an item. Raise your hand in person or online, and we're gonna get through it as quickly as we can, so that people can get home safely. All right, so with that, we're looking at item 2.2 for possible approval of the October minutes. Did anyone have something pressing to say about these minutes? No, I'm saying lots of no's. Okay, do we have a motion?
Public comment.
Oh, thank you. Is there a public comment? Public comment.
Yes, we've received public comment from Mindy Lilliquist.
And is that online, and that will be emailed to us, or was that something that was sent to us previously?
That just came in, so it will be emailed.
Wonderful. I'm going to ask that our members just take a minute to look at that, since it did just come in this second. Although it looks like that's for possible, for the agenda. Oh yeah, let's just take a minute to look at that. Thank you, everyone, for taking the moment to read through that. And I think as we check, and the rabbi's here. Welcome, sir. Glad you're here. That brings us up to 7. Okay. So we're on item 2.01, possible approval of the minutes for the October meeting. And we've so far not had any committee discussion. Is anyone interested in making a motion?
Stephanie Schumann,
Kelly?
for the record. I'll make a motion to pass the minutes from October 11th, 2021.
Thank you. In a second.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving those minutes from the October meeting, say aye. Raise your hand, whatever it is that you'd like to do.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. And that's unanimous. Thank you. And then we're going to do the same thing on item 2.02, possible approval of the minutes of the November 8th meeting.
Ashley, before we do that, can I, did we just hear Rabbi Benjamin Zober's voice in the vote?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to
did
make
we?
sure that he was in the meeting. Thank you.
Yes. Is my audio choppy?
What was that, Ashley?
I was asking, is my audio choppy? Because when he came in a couple minutes ago, I said so. So I just want to check on my mic.
I did
All
not.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds good now, but I did not hear you tell us that he was in the meeting.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. Okay. Item 2.02, possible approval of the minutes from the November 8th meeting. Was there any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. So, I don't see any hands. Could we have a motion?
I, Manny Magana, move to approve the November minutes.
Thanks, Manny.
Stephanie Schumann, for the record, I second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, and that passes unanimously. Wonderful. So looking forward to item 2.03, presentation and discussion of the revisions only, because that was how our motion had gone before, of the, sorry, I'm going to mute you all, of the lesson, the 4th grade lesson, What is Puberty?
Okay, I'll walk you through. I highlighted the edits that were added in hopes that it would make it a little bit easier for all of us. So I'm just going to skip right through if that's okay with everybody. Just don't get seasick as I scroll. Okay. So under slide 4, what are some changes that occurred during puberty? Body changes during puberty, there was a lot of discussion about this. And we were discussing the rapid growth spurt. Weight gain was a concern. So I had reference of Lydia when she volunteered to provide some more information on puberty and to add it to the teacher notes, if you recall when we had our last meeting, and that's exactly what I did. So these teacher notes, body changes during puberty, refer to while going over the changes. This is for information for the teacher to have when having those discussions with students. Puberty is the period of a person's life where their bodies become capable of reproduction. Basically, it's how a person's body changes from a child to an adult. For everyone, puberty is marked by 3 major changes: rapid body growth, maturation of the gonads, the parts of the body that secrete sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone. So in a body with a penis, the testes, and a body with a vulva, the ovaries. And 3, the development of secondary sex characteristics. Secondary sex characteristics are those that make an adult body different than a child's body, but aren't required for reproduction. So things like facial and body hair, voice changes, for a body with a penis, breast growth for a body with a vulva, and oil and sweat producing glands. These changes can happen beginning as early as 7 or 8 for some people and as late as 15 or 16 for others. Again, this is just teacher notes. This wouldn't be something that would be read verbatim to students because, yes, it's a lot of information. Specific to the growth spurt, the rapid acceleration in height and weight that occurs during puberty is called the adolescent growth spurt. During this spurt, bodies with penises tend to grow on average about 4 inches per year. Bodies with vulvas tend to grow on average about 3 inches per year. We also see changes in weight. This is due to increases in both muscle and body fat. Most people gain about half of their adult weight during puberty. This is totally normal and even necessary. Most bodies will not begin menstruating or producing sperm until that growth spurt has started. Without enough muscle and body fat by adulthood, it is often not possible for bodies with vulvas to successfully get pregnant and carry a baby to term. The next addition was the piece under the weight gain, specifically the talking points. Most people gain about half of their adult weight during puberty. This is totally normal and even necessary. Most bodies will not begin menstruating or producing sperm until the growth spurt has started. Without enough muscle and body fat by adulthood, it is often not possible for bodies with vulvas to successfully get pregnant and carry a baby to term. So this would be more of a fact that would be shared with students. And continuing to scroll. And sweat starts to smell. There was also discussion about this and using body sprays or powders or whatever. This one I referenced Andrea for more support on this. She also volunteered at our last meeting to give us some more facts on this. So perspiration or sweat comes from sweat glands that you've always had in your body, but thanks to puberty, these glands not only become more active than before, they also begin to secrete different chemicals into the sweat that has a stronger smelling odor. You might notice this odor under your arms, in your armpits, your feet and genitals might also have new smells. The best way to keep clean is to bathe or shower every day using a mild soap and warm water. This will help wash away any bacteria that contribute to the smells. Wearing clean clothes, socks, and underwear each day can help you to feel clean. If you sweat a lot, you might find that t-shirts, socks, and underwear made from cotton or other natural materials will help absorb sweat more effectively. If you're concerned about the way your underarms smell, you can try using a deodorant or deodorant with antiperspirant. Deodorants get rid of the odor of sweat by covering it up. Antiperspirants actually stop or dry up perspiration. They come in sticks, roll-ons, gels, sprays, and creams and are available at any drugstore or supermarket. All brands are similar, and ones that say they're made for a man or for a woman are similar too, except for some perfumes that may be added. If you choose to use deodorant or antiperspirant, be sure to read the directions. Some work better if you use them at night, whereas others recommend that you put them on in the morning. But keep in mind that some teens don't need deodorant or antiperspirant, so why use them if you don't have to? Deodorant and antiperspirant commercials may try to convince you that you'll have no friends or dates if you don't use their product. But if you don't think you smell and you take daily baths or showers and wear clean clothes, you may be fine without them. So then I also reference the actual sort that I got some more facts from too, along with Andrea when we had the discussion. So scrolling. Social changes, I believe you wanted the wording larger on these, and if you remember, these were the slides that I had to screenshot in last time for whatever reason. So I did make the words bigger. Social changes, how you interact with others, emotional changes, your feelings and emotions begin to change. Activity is the same. And colors, Manny? Oh, okay. You're good with the colors? It looks a little bright up there. Yeah. On our screen, it's better than the one up there, but yeah, it's a little mellower. And then this takes us into the puberty activity, which didn't change. I just separated it in hopes that it was easier to send, but it didn't help. So there you have it. I think I covered all of your changes.
Thank you, Rochelle. This is beautiful. I actually ran this through with my current fourth grader to see what their opinions is on it. And they're like, yeah, this is great. You already talked to me about this. So I'm glad my friends too. Okay. Did we have any urgent or pressing things to address this lesson? Kelly?
Kelly Roper for the record. I just have one question. And we're going to move to 2.04. Are these videos in 2.04 attached to the lesson from 2.03 and we've just separated it? Okay, I was just wanting to make sure the video things in the lesson. Okay, perfect. That's all.
Thank you for that clarifying question. Hey, Manny, do I see your hand up?
No hand for me.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, have we received public comment for this item?
There has been no public comment.
Thank you. So given that, I would love, if there's no further discussion, I'm prepared to entertain a motion.
Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie Schumann for the record. I would propose at this time we move forward with the fourth grade share puberty lesson and puberty activity with the revisions made from the November 8th meeting.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. This is Ashley Wade for the record, and I would second the motion to recommend these changes and the lesson as a whole to the Board of Trustees. Further discussion or public comment? Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Alrighty, and so on motion from Stephanie, second from myself, it passes unanimously. Thank you. Wonderful. Moving on to 2.04, and this is where we'll learn more about these videos quite a bit in detail, I think, or we'll perhaps discuss them. Discussion and possible action on videos for the lesson, What is Puberty?
So if you recall,
Any questions?
oh, so sorry, Ashley, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
sorry, go
interrupt. Just totally jumped in. I'm putting these two videos forward because there's so much conversation about the previous two videos that we talked about, or I had proposed for the puberty lesson. So I did some more research for some more videos, and I took them out and made this a separate agenda item just so it wouldn't get confusing with the actual lesson. So there you have it. Up for.
Thank you. Yes, Kelly.
Okay, Kelly Roper for the record. I wrote notes in on my phone about the videos. I really liked I liked both of the videos. One of the things that I loved a ton, and I know we've already done most of our lessons, but I absolutely loved in that fake classroom the true false paddles, because I thought that was the coolest way to have everyone answer because they were forced to turn a paddle. So I really liked that. I did not like, and it kind of dovetails with, I think, the section in our public comment. Our public comment was about the person's opinion on the video. I didn't like the expert. You know, I guess we'd call her the expert. I really liked the whole beginning of that video. I liked the real people. I liked the real kids. I actually didn't mind their comparisons to fruit because I thought, like, even with breast development, seeing the comparisons to different sizes of fruit, I didn't mind that. But what I didn't like about I only say I don't like because I'm proposing maybe we stop the video when the kids write down questions and then and leave it at that part. She talks about balls, right? And in all of our videos, it's like, let's be scientists. Let's use the scientific term. What's the scientific term for balls? It's testicles. And so I wasn't so much fond of that. And then what was the other thing she said? She said something else I was going to ask if Andrea commented or thought about. I cannot remember, but it was something factual, where not necessarily factual, but it was it maybe about body odor or something? And I thought, well, I don't know that I like how she answered that in the first place. So I like the videos. I like the change. I like replacing the two videos because I didn't like those two. But I would propose that we take out our quote unquote expert because I didn't think the questions she chose to answer were very well done.
Thank you, Kelly. Any further comments or thoughts?
This is Andrea Thompson for the record. It would be helpful to know, and I don't know if Kelly, you can take a look, like what part of the video I could reference to look at that part to really know if that was something helpful.
Okay, yes, I did. I found my note, but I wasn't reading it well because I was trying not to read my whole big long notes for the whole meeting. It was in question number 1 of the video, and the question referred to why doesn't puberty take place in elementary school? Since we're all been very clear on all of our meetings, sometimes it does happen as early as 8 years old. Sometimes it happens at 9 years old. One of my daughter's friends got her period in 4th grade. So I guess that was what it was, because it was saying, why doesn't this happen in elementary school? But for some kids it does. So I thought that was inaccurate, I guess. That's what jumped out at me. It was at the very beginning when she answers question 1. I feel like she only answered 2 questions. And one of them was in regards to why puberty doesn't happen in elementary school. So I figured that since it does for some, that's why I didn't like that. So.
Thank you for clarifying that. I do think you're right that it is happening. And actually at this point, there's going to have, by the time kids have been taught this lesson, they'll have multiple kids in their class who are menstruating, who have body hair, that kind of stuff. So it does make sense that we don't want to tell them it doesn't happen in elementary school. Any other thoughts? Manny, down, do I see your hands? Okay.
Just to kind of echo what Kelly said, that is very factual. I actually know of 2 of my 4th graders already that have already gotten their periods, just for for various reasons. I will say that I did have, for myself personally, I did have trouble trying to access the Everybody Curious / Puberty one, so I was not able to watch that one. However, the one with feeling depressed, happy, and other emotions, I do like this one. I think that I think that's really good that we're touching and addressing some of those things. And I think that this is definitely a video that I would like to also keep in there. Like with all the other videos, though, I do think we should try to maybe we can either put it in the link, or we can let the teachers know to stop it before it gets to the very end and we get to all the ads. But aside from that, I do like that video. And again, I can't speak on the other one. I was having trouble accessing it to try to watch it. Thanks.
Andrea?
Hi, Andrea Thompson for the record. I actually want to echo what Kelly said. I was wondering, they don't really say exactly that I could recall what type of expert this was. And I actually really just didn't like her tone, to be honest, of this is how it's gonna be, And so I thought, these are obviously they're children, but they're potentially menstruating and other signs or symptoms of puberty. So I actually did like the first part of the video as well, and would potentially consider just not having the expert ask the questions, because I think it is contradictory information from what we've been telling them in some senses. And I can understand where she was coming from and trying to answer that question, as a toddler, she kind of starts off answering this is why you wouldn't necessarily have a period or have puberty. But I think it was just probably a little just poorly generalized. So I would really echo what Kelly said and say that, I really liked the first part of the video, and it's kind of long video anyway for this age group. I don't know how long they would really pay attention if we didn't stop it. So I think if we wanted to put it on record, I think the stopping point would be at I think 3:45. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So someone could double check that for me, but I think that's right around where it was. But the other video is great.
Thank you for pinpointing the time on that. Rabbi?
I'm in agreement as well. I think that the first part of that video is quite good. And it really kind of loses steam when they switch over to the expert, both in her tone and I mean, maybe those are questions that people have, but I'm curious to see which ones they might have taken out. The only thing that and they walked it back a little bit, and I don't remember if they walk it back after the later experts segment or earlier. And maybe this is a little just being overly picky or watching too hard. But after they go through the all the produce section to explain shape and size of breasts, they compare testicles to kiwis, And I gotta say, if you're walking around with testicles the size of kiwis, either you are magnificently confident, or you should have that seen by a medical professional immediately. They get a little bit, but I mean that knowing a thing or two about guys and locker rooms and concerns over things like that might be something that should be just tweaked a little bit. The verbiage, not the actual testicles.
Andrea Thompson, thank you, Rabbi.
Andrea Thompson for the record. And likely what they're referring to is that when you see a scrotum, you don't see the entire testicle outside of your body necessarily. Some of that is actually sitting inside of your body cavity. And so it could actually be an accurate assessment potentially, but you're not necessarily seeing all of that. So, I mean, I guess we could always just, have more information in the teachers note that they're really just trying to show that we all come in different shapes and sizes. And if you do have questions, ask your medical professional if something feels, like it's not correct or there's something wrong. But a good point, Rabbi.
Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Stephanie Schumann for the record. I really liked the new video additions and really enjoyed the feeling depressed, happy, and other emotions. I thought that was just so spot on, and I think every fourth grader can relate to that. I was hoping maybe we could do some edits on taking care of your body during puberty. The very first ad that pops up says, "Welcome to my vagina." And it's some sort of ad for, I'm not sure what, but maybe we could just snip that out or make sure the teachers know to quickly click, skip ad.
That's a good point. I think most teachers playing a YouTube video get it set up and ready to go and just get past ads to begin with.
Perfect. Then that's wonderful. That's great to know.
Yeah, thanks. Kelly?
Clarifying question, because I read the agenda item to mean that the first two videos were possibly replacing the taking care of your body and puberty finding out who you are. Am I misreading that? Because I thought that that we were, maybe the purpose was to replace the top two with the bottom, or from the bottom.
Kelly, you're correct. And Stephanie, I was responding to your question that we do, as Manny said, and Ashley said as well, whenever we show any kind of YouTube, I always say, please get them up and ready before the students get going, because yes, there's always some kind of strange ad, and that's how we handle that. So yes, but as far as the videos, I did the first two proposed to replace the other two that were in the original proposed lesson. Does that make sense?
Thank you for clarifying that. Have we received any public comment on this item?
We have not.
Okay, we've had good discussion. Do we have any ideas on a motion?
Ashley, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
We do need to make sure that if we are using the Everybody Curious Puberty video, that we that it is not on the guest Wi-Fi, or it will not allow you to access it. So teachers need to make sure that they are actually logged in properly.
Thank you. That's a good, important note. And also appreciated from the district. That's the district, right? Saying that kids or devices are using the guest stuff, so they would not have access to this. Okay, I'm ready to entertain a motion unless we have further discussion. Kelly?
Kelly Roper for the record. I move that we accept the video, what is Puberty Feeling Depressed, Happy, and Other Emotions video, as well as Everybody Curious Puberty, ending at 3:45, 3 minutes and 45 seconds before the expert answers questions, to replace the videos Taking Care of Your Body and Puberty Finding Out Who You Are.
This is Ashley Wade for the record, and I would second that motion to recommend those videos in this fourth grade lesson to the Board of Trustees. Okay, all in favor, say aye or yes.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. And the motion passes unanimously. Wonderful. Awesome. Are you ready to move ahead to the next lesson, Rochelle, or would you like a break?
Yep, nope, we're ready to rock and roll.
Alrighty, so we're looking at item 2.05 for presentation and discussion and possible action and the revisions recommended for the 4th grade lesson Understanding Our Bodies in the 4th grade curriculum.
Okay, same thing. I have the edits highlighted, so I will just scroll through. This one I added a video because we did not have a video in the previously proposed lesson. So that's why this one is highlighted. Moving on, excuse me, understanding our bodies. And I don't believe we had a bunch on this. Most bodies with vulvas have the following parts. And then there was discussion on often bathing suit top, or I see there needs to be an edit. Often a bathing suit top or sun shirt is worn and covers the nipples on the chest. Previously, I believe it just spoke to the bodies with a vulva versus bodies with a penis. And as all of our kids now wear sun shirts, we wanted to make sure that it was just kind of normalized, right, for all of our kiddos. And then moving down, and I went through and changed all the verbiage on here to make sure it was body with a vulva and body with a penis. So most bodies that have a penis also have a scrotum between their legs. The penis has a hole in it called the urethra, just like the bodies with the vulva. A body with a penis has an opening where a bowel movement, solid waste, or poop exits the body, called an anus, just like a body with a vulva. Most bodies with penises also have nipples. And scrolling down, all bodies have a value, or have value, excuse me, and all bodies deserve care. There are so many different types of bodies that look different and develop at different rates. It's important that we value the differences in our bodies. There is much discussion about that. Slide 10, we've referred to trusted adults throughout the lesson, but what makes a person a trusted adult? And that's where I added in the video, because we have had discussion about a trusted adult. So what better place to start but in 4th grade, right? And then our colors. Manny, colors are good? Okay. And then closing, why is it important to know the correct names of your body parts so you can explain to a trusted adult if something is wrong or not feeling right? And that's it.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. I really appreciate the addition of the video about how to find a trusted adult. That was fantastic. And I really appreciate you adding that in there. Also, thank you so much for the verbiage on the importance of valuing differences in bodies. It's just truly beautiful and spoke to my heart. Thank you. Any pressing issues or things we want to bring up? Like a good meal. It's good news when everyone is quiet. Okay, wonderful. Have we received public comment on this item?
There has been no public comment.
Okay. Unless I'm missing a hand, did anyone have a motion on this beautiful lesson?
I'd be happy to put a motion through, Ashley, if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Andrea Thompson, for the record, I move that we recommend to the Board of Trustees the presentation, share 4th grade curriculum lesson plan for our body, understanding our bodies. I think that's everything.
Thank you.
I, Manny Magana, second that motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and on Motion from Andrea and seconded by Manny. It passes unanimously. Awesome. Thank you so much for that lesson, Rochelle. Okay, so we're moving on to 2.06. We're on fire. Presentation and discussion of the proposed share fourth grade curriculum to include accompanying materials for the draft lesson, Friendships. And it's all you.
Oh, Ashley, we skipped 2.06, but can we take a 5-minute break real quick?
Oh, yes. Sorry, 5-minute break, and then I'll have to, that was wrong, so we'll have to come back to 2.06.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, we're back. So I misspoke earlier, so if you'll allow me a moment to reintroduce 2.06 for discussion of an additional and new video to support the Share fourth grade curriculum, Understanding Our Bodies. Wait. Yep, okay. There we go.
And Ashley, I don't have anything particular to share. It was just to, it was the addition of the video, Finding an Adult That You Can Trust. That was it. To add to the lesson.
I watched it and took copious notes. I can't believe I didn't realize they're separate motions. Okay, any discussion on that video? I said earlier it's lovely. Any public any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. Okay, could we have a motion?
I, Manny Magana, move that we use this video in the proposed lesson in 2.05.
Excellent. Thank you. And this is Ashley Wade for the record, and I second that. Manny's motion to include this video with the fourth grade lesson, Understanding Our Bodies. Okay, and all in favor, say aye or yes.
Aye.
And any opposed, say no. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now time for 2.07, presentation and discussion of proposed Share fourth grade curriculum for the draft lesson, Friendships.
Okay. Again, standards are located at the top of the lesson. Objectives describe at least 3 healthy and 3 unhealthy characteristics of relationships. Compare at least 2 positive and 2 negative ways friends and peers can influence relationships. Identify at least 2 trusted adults they would talk to about a relationship, and define consent. Activities, healthy and unhealthy friendship quiz. Positive and negative influences on relationships. 2 videos, what makes a good friend and consent for kids. Lesson prep, make copies of healthy and unhealthy friendship quiz. Lesson intro is the same as has been in our previous lessons. So I'm not going to reread that. I hope that's okay with you all. Use of slang words. This is also present in our other lessons, but just as a reminder, if students use slang words, keep in mind that they may be the only language they've heard before. They may also be trying to get a rise out of you. Since you won't know their motivation, should they use a slang term, gently correct them, remind them that we are using the correct anatomical terms like scientists, and ask them to continue. For example, if they were to say balls for testicles, there's likely to be some laughter. Simply say, and what is the word we learned for balls? And restate using the term testicles. So, slide 1, friendships. The focus of this lesson will be on friendships, healthy and unhealthy relationships, and consent. But first we need to talk about being friends with ourselves, which brings us to slide 2. Friendship with oneself is all important because without it, one cannot be friends with anyone else in the world. So Eleanor Roosevelt. And then a question of what does the quote mean? Provide time for brief discussion on what students think about the quote. How come we wouldn't be a good friend to someone when we aren't a good friend to ourselves? Before we can be a good friend to others, we need to be a good friend to ourselves. What does that look like? Probe for anything along these lines. Talking positively to ourselves, taking care of our bodies, being proud of who we are, etc. Now let's talk about our relationships with others and the healthy and unhealthy aspect of those relationships. First off, what do you think the term relationship means? And if students respond with dating or romance, follow up with, does a relationship always have to mean two people dating? What are some different kinds of relationships that people can have? Probe 4, friendship, romantic relationships between family members or between a child and an adult teacher, coach, doctor, religious leader, etc. We're going to focus on relationships that children or teens might have with each other, whether friendships or dating relationships. And then what makes a good friend, the video. The video content ends at 2 minutes and remainder is to talk about what makes a good friend. So it's that stopping point. Briefly discuss what makes a good friend, and then after the video. And then the activity is the healthy and unhealthy quiz. Pass it out, provide enough time to finish, about 5 minutes. Once completed, have students work with a partner and compare responses, have them discuss responses they may not agree on. Bring back to the whole group, go over each question and ask for volunteers to share their responses and reasons for their responses. If disagreements or misunderstandings, provide explanation for correct answers, refer to the answer key. Say something like, now that we know some traits of healthy and unhealthy relationships, let's think about ways that friends and peers can influence a relationship in positive and negative ways. What does it mean to influence someone? Probe for anything like get you to do something. May also discuss social media influencers and what they do. And then moving on to slide 5, the positive and negative influence on relationships activity. This can be completed whole class or, as a whole class discussion or individually. If completed individually, have students respond on the back of their true or false quiz from earlier. So positive and negative influences, things that friends and peers might do or say that can influence a relationship in a positive or healthy way. Things that friends and peers might do or say that can influence a relationship in a negative or unhealthy way. So that's the activity, pretty simple. What are some examples of things that friends might do or say that can help a friendship in a positive way, that keep it healthy? So probe for anything. Again, these are just examples. They keep your secrets. They help you learn a new game. They don't get upset with you if you cannot do things they can do. They include you in the game and other activities, or in a game. They stay with you when you are sad. They listen to your ideas even if they are different from their own. They take turns in games or deciding what to do. They're honest with you. They care about your feelings. And then what are some examples of things that friends might do or say that can help a friendship in a negative way, that make it unhealthy? So again, examples. Anything along these lines and hopefully more. They ignore your feelings if you are sad or upset. They jump in front of you in line. They take things from you without asking. They don't invite you to play when a group is together. They hurt your feelings and do not apologize. They tease you even though you ask them not to. They stand by while you are being bullied and do not do anything or tell anyone. They talk about you behind your back. They lie to you. They pressure you to do things you don't want to do. And then from there, it runs into consent. So say something like, we've been talking about friendships and what can make them good and not so good. We can't talk about healthy relationships without talking about the topic of consent. Consent is permission for something to happen. Consent is asking and respecting the response to the question. And then ask for volunteers to explain or give examples of what consent is. If no volunteers, some examples might be, can I have a hug? Can I sit next to you while we read this book? Can I use your phone to call home? Can I use one of your pencils? Consent is an ongoing process. It's okay if, So this is an example. Is it okay if I still sit next to you while we read another book together? Just because someone said yes earlier does not mean they will agree to the activity later. A person can always change their mind anytime before or during an activity. And then can you think of other examples? And then the consent for kids video. And then remember, your body belongs to you. You get to decide about your own body. No one should touch you without permission. Consent means always choosing to respect others' boundaries. And then if you have more questions, who can you talk to? And then the parent our normal list of trusted adults. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. As someone who's taught fourth grade and also brought kids up through this age, this grade of several times, I was really happy to see the discussion of friendship and to have that consent for kids video included in that. That video is actually came out second. There's a children's book that was written about it first, and they're both just phenomenal, and I think a really great place for the groundwork that our 5th and 6th and 7th grade lessons have. It lays really great groundwork for those following years. So thank you so much for that. Did we have any other opinions or questions from our committee? Kelly.
Kelly Roper, for the record, I just wanted to say I also absolutely loved it, and I thought the discussion of friendships was awesome. And I really liked the videos, and the video on what makes a good friend had what we cut out of the other video because we didn't have, which is kids asking all these great questions on paper and then it not being discussed. And I absolutely loved the over a minute and a half worth of a bunch of totally diverse groups of kids saying what they thought made a good friend, and in a bunch of different situations in a bunch of different ways. And I thought that was awesome. So really, really good lesson.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I have in my notes that super great to have the different perspectives on kids and also the variety of examples of things that we value and want to have in our relationships. So thanks for that. Manny.
Real quick clarification. After slide 5, is there a slide 6? Possibly.
Scrolling. After slide 5. It could have just been my numbering, Manny.
Okay, that's why I just wanted to double check.
I believe it was my numbering.
I would like to possibly make a suggestion then for slide 6. If we could potentially have a slide that really emphasizes that last piece that you're talking about where it says consent is an ongoing process, and just because you had consent before doesn't mean that it's given again. I mean, something along those lines to make sure that we know that consent is something that needs to be asked for every single time, not just a one time and it's given constantly. Outside of that, though, I agree. I think this was a really, really good lesson. I do like the wide variety of children that talk about what a good friend is, and I really like the consent video. I think it, even though like it may seem like it's a little silly, I think that it really kind of gets the point across about like, you know, this is what consent is. So I really do enjoy this lesson a lot.
Manny, I would be curious, what do you think about the edit for a possible slide 6? The language, you know, consent is an ongoing process. That's why friends check in with each other every time. Or just, that's why friends ask.
I think we're hitting the point with it, kind of, but I also think that might go, just that simple concept, even though it sounds simple for us, that might go over some of our students' heads when they hear that. We might want to try to maybe reword it, but I really like what you're trying to say with that.
Do you have an example of possibly more specific verbiage that we could nail down tonight?
If you give me like 2 minutes, I will work on it in my head.
Okay, while he thinks about that, do we have any public comment on this item?
We do not have any public comment.
I have a comment.
Thank you. Lydia?
Yeah, just a real quick question. The true false quiz, is that in these documents somewhere? Because I didn't see it. I couldn't find it that the kids are getting. Like, will that be available to parents? And
Yes. Evidently, I left it out. I know, what, I'm falling apart here. Sorry, Lydia. What page it?
That's okay. I just making sure it's not me. That can't, which it could be totally. And then just real quick, as to the bullet points that Annie was talking about in that slide, I think the 4 bullet points that Rochelle has in the teacher's notes are great. Right? Remember, your body belongs to you. You get to decide about your own body. No one should touch you without permission. Consent. You can always choosing to respect each other's boundaries. If you want to add a 5th one about every time. But I think those are pretty spot on in terms of influence. That's all I had. Otherwise, I love it. All of it.
Sorry about the true false quiz.
Kelly Roper for the record. I have just to order. I like adding this extra slide on consent, however we end up wording it. But I was wondering if it was, it would make more sense after the video, so it's more of a closer and it ties to what they've heard about from the video. So instead of making it a slide 6, the movie is slide 6, and then this consent is a slide 7. So it's more of a closer.
That's a really good point. I think given that we don't have that activity to preview tonight, we don't really need to settle on any particular verbiage tonight. We could possibly revisit revisions, which is awfully close to a motion now that I think about it. So we don't have, I'm going to check again. Do we have public comment on this item?
We do not.
Okay, so this is Ashley Wade for the record, and I move that the share committee, revisits this lesson with changes as discussed tonight at a future meeting.
I, Manny Magana, second that motion.
Thank you, Manny. Okay. Any discussion before we vote? Kelly?
Kelly Roper for the record. So the other purpose is just so that we could also see this quiz, right? Just making sure so that we see the quiz. So just not just the slide, the extra slide, but the quiz activity. And the public does as well, right?
Yes, that was my intent. Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed, say no. Okay, so on my motion, seconded by Manny, passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for your time. Is there any general public comment for item 3.01?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. Okay. 3.02, our next meeting will be January 10th, 2021. And I want to say thank you again to everyone. I hope you continue to have the happiest of holidays, stay safe and stay warm.
2022,
and at
Ashley.
6:31, our meeting is adjourned.